All right, welcome back to Your View with me on Khopotse, JJ Tabane. We're kicking off Transport Month tonight as we talk to the Rustenburg Long Distance Taxi Association or Taxi Transportation Holdings about the formation of the Mobility Cooperative Bank at the bottom of this hour. So that's how we kick off our Transport Month tonight, focusing on the taxi industry. Of course, you can tell us what your view is about how the taxi industry can be better regulated and how drivers can be better supported. But before we get to that conversation, I want to talk about migration. You know, when we talk about xenophobia here at home, and there's been a lot of song and dance, all sorts of people saying all kinds of things, largely being politicians being cowardly, you know, because they actually have no clue what to do to sort the matter out. So the quickest way is to say, oh, South Africans are not xenophobic and what have you. But actually, the issue of migration is a universal issue that many countries are tackling in different ways. We've seen countries, you know, returning people at shore. People, you know, desperate people are trying to cross over to Europe, for example, in boats, being returned or dying in the process, and so on. And of course, the madman of the West, Donald Trump, taking the cake and bastardizing migration. Let's take a listen.
This is called the snake. And think of it in terms of immigration, and you may love it or you may say, isn't that terrible? Okay? And if you say, isn't that terrible, who cares? Because the way they treat me, that's peanuts compared to the way they treat me. Immigration. On her way to work one morning, down the path, along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-hearted, frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried. I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, surely you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman. And you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
I don't know how you differentiate a person from DRC Congo from a person in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, or KwaZulu-Natal. I don't know how you differentiate a person from Nigeria from a person from Limpopo or wherever else. I don't know what skill you're possessed of to be able to differentiate the one from the other to the point. of attacking them just because they come elsewhere. I key into the words of Archbishop Desmond Tutu in 2013, I think it was, addressing the Pretoria Afrikaner Chamber of Commerce. Watch out. The extent of the inequality and poverty is so deep, so serious, that if you as business people don't see yourselves as corporate citizens who have to help address it, we're going to get to the point where these people are desperate. And desperate people take desperate measures. They will do anything possible to get what they don't have, but what you have.
Wow, Donald Trump there, comparing immigrants with a deadly snake and America with a tender woman. Hey? I mean, it must be the worst analogy that a president of the most powerful nation can make about other nations. It's bizarre, but more bizarre because actually his own wife is a migrant. I'm not sure whether this snake that he was talking about, maybe he was referring to his wife. Maybe his wife has behaved that way. That's why he thinks he can go onto an international podium of the President of the United States and call migrants snakes who are ungrateful. Just instead of saying, thank you for taking me in, the snake bit the tender woman. It's bad. If we have the world going in the extreme right-wing direction, like the US under Trump, it's terrible. But the reality, as Mogoeng there makes a serious rebuttal, Chief Justice making a straightforward, downright rebuttal of the sentiments expressed by Donald Trump, that migration makes no business sense. Because in fact, if you think about it, without migration, business stands a lot to suffer. Because what are imports if they are not goods that are manufactured by foreign nationals, by foreign countries, by people other than your country, right? So you are happy to wear stuff that says, made in China, but when the Chinese come to visit or to stay, they are not good enough. They're good enough for you to wear their stuff, made in China. I mean, every second thing here, made in China, right? But yet there is this hostility towards foreign nationals that makes no business sense. And tonight, as we focus on business, we've got to be clear to ourselves that the issue of xenophobia makes no business sense at all. I thought maybe we're shouting too much about it making no moral sense, because in our dark days we were scavenging, basically, if not vagabonding the rest of this continent looking for a place to hide. And these same people who are taken today took us into their homes, not in camps. Those who wanted military training, that's fine, they went to camps, and much of that military training didn't amount to anything anyway. Right? But it is quite clear to me that if you focus on the business sense of the issue of integrated global world, we're talking about something that can benefit all the citizens of the world. Because while I may specialize in coffee, somebody else may specialize in textiles, somebody else may specialize in oil, somebody else may specialize in minerals. And in order for you to survive, you've got to share what you've got in abundance with others of other nations. It should be so obvious. That's why the trade war, the so-called trade war between the US and China, is one of the most stupid things. I don't know what the Americans use for stupid, but I think they usually use the word idiot. Idiot. They've got an idiot for a president who's busy cocking a snook at everyone in the world. Because these people, after all, are snakes as far as he's concerned. Because somehow there is a sense in which some Americans that are, represented by somebody like Trump almost think that America is the whole world. Because maybe they're confused. They think if they have moved from, Arizona to New York, they've traveled international. Maybe they even call it international travel. It's a terrible ignorance. Terrible ignorance that there are people who actually, in the 21st century, still believe that they could be an island, an entirety of themselves. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's sad to see that here in our country, when we are faced with something like this, instead of calling it by its name, we dilly-dally and so on. Even at the highest levels, our president struggled to just say, look, there are people here who are xenophobic. It's unacceptable. Take a listen to what he had to say at the Grace Bible Church.
As South Africans, we are not xenophobic. We are not.
Obviously, I don't agree with the president. He's trying to be politically correct, but that's not helping to solve the problem. Because there are those who are feeling the pain are saying, we are hurt because people are telling us they don't want us, they don't like us. We have heard voicemails, we have voice notes, we have seen emails, WhatsApp messages, and all sorts of things from people who are saying, let them go. And many of them are people who are ignorant, who do not understand the fact that we need them. If we look at the many mathematics teachers in South Africa and science teachers in South Africa, many of them come from Zimbabwe. You look at the legal experts we have. One of the most popular is Professor Guto. All right, he's not a South African. So we have a number of foreign nationals that have contributed immensely, not only to our education, but also to our economy.
And Reverend Mishe, they're giving a firm rebuttal to the president. Now, the president speaking there in the church, and no, I'm not xenophobic. Some of them are even homophobic in the same church anyway. So I'm not surprised. By the way, I don't know whether some gaga has gone back to that church. President says, no, I'm not xenophobic. Some of them are the ones who are chasing foreign nationals in their own, same township of Soweto there. We are not xenophobic. We know that amongst us there are those who are xenophobic. In fact, when you simplify it, you think you are better than others in the continent. And we need to call it out. The politicians must stop fudging the issue. No, it's only criminality. No. It is xenophobic as well as criminal at the same time. It's not either or. I thought I'll share those thoughts from a business element, from trading with other nations. It makes no sense. And some of our companies that are in Nigeria, in other parts of the continent, are feeling the pinch now when the same people they are taking here tell you in their countries, Abruha. And we shall therefore regret this moment in history. Let's take a break. At the bottom of the hour, we talk about the bank, a new bank being formed by the taxi industry out in Northwest in Rustenburg. Let's take a break.